Hi guys, welcome back again. This video is an extension on just the previous video, so if you didn't watch the last video, watch it for round 3. So I talked there more in depth about which teams are best to target, and here I'm gonna talk a little bit why the round 3 is the most dangerous round in fantasy, the World Cup. Okay, so this round is very dangerous because this is the only round at the World Cup where some teams have nothing to play for, and a lot of teams are not going to field their best players. They're going to rotate a lot. Why? Because it's the last round. A couple of teams already progressed, not just progressed. They progressed as first in their group because of the new rule of the head-to-head rule. So Mexico is already first because they won against Korea, who has 3 points. United States as well because they won against Australia, who also has 3 points. So those teams can theoretically finish with same 6 points and better goal difference, but still United States and Mexico have better head-to-head, and they're going to be first. Germany is also confirmed first, and that's going to be continued throughout the other days until the round 2 is finished. So they're probably Argentina or England are going to be there. Maybe, like theoretically, Colombia can be there if Portugal draws against Uzbekistan as well, and they win against Congo. So beware for that, because these teams are probably they are going to rotate something 100%. We don't know who. We can just predict. So I would probably try to transfer out players. And definitely, if they don't transfer out, because I can't transfer all of them out, I'm for sure not going to transfer in players from those teams. Or maybe like someone like Undav from Germany is going to be expected to start. Because he scored 3 goals in the first 2 rounds, is going to be given a chance to be in the starting lineup. Yeah, go for it. Otherwise, no. Then some teams are already out, like Tunisia, Haiti, Turkey, which is a very strong team, which are very good players. They're already out, so maybe they're going to field the starting 11. Maybe they want to win their matches, but you never know. You never know how they're going to play. Coach and public, they're angry at some players. They're not going to start. Some other players are going to start, and then we have a lot of teams. They just need a draw to progress. So, like for example, Ivory Coast, if they win, they cannot surpass Germany. With a draw, they're already second. They cannot go up or down if they draw. So, draw against Curacao is enough for them. I mean, if they win, if they draw, it's the same for them. And there's going to be a couple of teams like South Korea. Netherlands, no, but they already progressed, but they need to fight for the first place. So, you need to think about a lot of those things. Of Netherlands are probably not going to rotate. Ivory Coast, maybe not, but if they, leading 1-0 and it's a halftime, maybe they're gonna, 2-0 at the halftime, maybe they're gonna mix up a little bit because they know, okay, draw is still enough for us. And then you have teams that need to win in order to progress. So draw is not enough for them. They're gonna attack. For example, you have Bosnia and Herzegovina and Qatar playing each other, or probably Saudi Arabia and Cape Verde. They're gonna play each other. They're both gonna need a win to progress. So expect a lot of goals there probably. Czechia, South Africa, Scotland, and so on. A lot of teams that need to win in order to progress. But some teams have tough matches like Scotland against Brazil. Some teams play each other. Some teams have maybe a bit of weaker matches. So you definitely need to look out for that before transfers. So we have 3 free transfers. So theoretically, you can remove 3 players from the teams already qualified, already out, and bring 3 players from those teams that need to win. But also you can take hits. So you can make 4 or 5 or theoretically 15 transfers or whatever, but you're going to lose a lot of points. So every transfer above those 3 transfers that are free is a -5 hit. So sometimes that can be good. If you have a lot of players now, they're going to be rotated. They're not going to play for sure. Maybe it's good to take a -5 hit on a 4th player in order to get more players that can score points, and then hope this player will score like 7, 8, 10 points or something like that. So if you have a player that's not going to play for sure, that's 0 points for you. And then incoming player score 7 points, that's like a net gain of 2 points. So that -5 can make sense in those regards, but it can make sense much better if then you keep that player for next round. So you kind of use a traditional transfer like -5 hit to remove some player that is maybe injured and will not gonna play until the end of the tournament, and bring some good player that is nailed. But in this case it's not that, because we get unlimited transfers after round 3, so you're now making transfers just for round 3. But if you're full of those players from like Mexico and US and Germany and possibly Argentina or England, then maybe it's good to take a hit in order to have more players to score points in round 3, even if they're rotated. But the bad example for the hit is if you have some player that's gonna play, you're not satisfied with him, but he can still score like 2 points, 3 points, and then you take a hit, and that's like minus for you. Even if your other player scores like a couple of points more, it's still not a net gain for you. So I wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend taking a hit only if player is not going to play for sure and you don't have enough players available to make some substitutions or something like that. You know, you have 15 players, but like 6 players are not going to play, so you're left with 9. And okay, let's take a hit for like, let's take some substitutions to get into 12, and then maybe for so you can substitute new player in, you can take a hit and hope this new player was going to score, you know, a lot of points. So yeah, before I always make transfers, like I try to make transfers like 1 hour before the deadline, because if you're making them, you know, a day before, like 5-6 hours before, at least you need to change predicted lineups. They can change up until the last point. So I'm waiting to see the most reliable predicted lineups, then follow injury updates, suspensions, you know, talk like what happened with Doku now. I have Doku, unfortunately. I couldn't know that his wife is pregnant, but he's, you know, he went from Belgium camp. He's not gonna play tonight, so already my Doku is out. But if I knew somehow, if this happened at least a couple of days before, then I would know, because I would follow the news and I could transfer him out. And especially what you need to follow for round 3 is what teams already progresses first, what teams are already out, and then try to take players out from those teams and bring players in from teams that must win, that have something to play, because they're not going to rotate so much, because we don't know, even with predicted lineups, we cannot know is Kane going to play if England has 6 points, is, I don't know, who's going to play in defense in Argentina if they already have 6 points, and so on and so on. So bye until the next video, and I'm gonna have probably some value picks, but only a couple of hours before the deadline for transfer, because then we're gonna know the entire round 2, who needs to play, who doesn't need to win, are there any additional suspensions and news, and who are going to be value picks for round 3. Bye until then.